So before we go into learning Final Cut Pro 10, I just want to talk a little bit about why I wanted to do a tutorial on Final Cut Pro 10. Because there's a whole bunch of other editing programs out there, and I mentioned in the last video you have Adobe Premiere Pro, Avid is a big one. People use DaVinci Resolve to edit, even iMovie on the Macs, even down to editing programs on your phone. So with all the options out there, why would you pick Final Cut Pro 10? So, I feel like Final Cut Pro 10, even Final Cut in general, just has kind of been like the underdog lately. Over the last decade, Final Cut Pro 7, which was, out in 2010, it was one of the leading editing programs at the time through broadcast and film. Everybody was using it, super popular. But then something big happened, right? So Apple introduced Final Cut Pro 10, the successor to Final Cut Pro 7, back in 2011, and it was met with a whole bunch of criticism. It was initially released with a lot of missing features like multicam editing, a lack of robust color correction tools. Editing professionals at the time were just kind of turned off, and a lot of them jumped ship to other programs like Adobe Premiere Pro. Many slammed Final Cut Pro 10 as catering to amateur editors because of how much it resembled iMovie, which was Apple's introductory editing program. So, back in the day, I dabbled a lot with Final Cut Pro 7. It was good, but then that was around the time when Final Cut Pro 10 came out. And I really, got excited about it. I wanted to pioneer the program. I wanted to learn it from the ground up. This was my opportunity to, really take something and get excited about it. I had played around a little bit with Avid and Premiere at the time, and, they just looked too complicated, for somebody who was just starting out. And I tried to follow like YouTube tutorials, and it just really wasn't connecting with me. So that's how I started with Final Cut Pro. And over the last decade, Apple's been adding new features that editors have been asking for a while. And some might say like maybe all of it was added a little bit too late. That's up in the air. But for either people that are looking to revisit Final Cut Pro or newcomers who are dipping their toes into the editing field, I think there's a lot of potential here, and there's so much you can do. I think the interface of the program is really well organized. It has plenty of pro level features, and I think Apple does a great job of only showing what you need to see at each point during the editing process. So you don't open the program and just get a face full of buttons and switches and start getting overwhelmed. Some people might think that makes Final Cut Pro a little entry level, but really there's a lot of advanced features kind of tucked under the hood, just waiting to be discovered. So there's a lot here. So having said all that, just to kind of clear the air on like why I'm using Final Cut Pro 10, I just wanted to make it known that that's why. So having said that, let's go ahead and dive into Final Cut Pro 10.